Hello, this is Wayne Beach, your instructor. First, let me apologize for my voice and possible coughing. I was diagnosed with COVID a couple of days ago, but I wanted to have this video ready to go the first day of class. So this is the syllabus discussion for CIT 144, named Python 1. Now, I never go through and read the syllabus line by line. I just kind of cover it and spend some time on important aspects. So, at the top in the welcome section, this is a standard online class, which means we will never meet in person, that it will all be online. And if we need to meet one on one, it will be via Teams that I will discuss later. So, my name is Wayne Beach. I work full time at the University of Kentucky, but I'm also an adjunct faculty member for BCTC, and I have been an adjunct faculty since the spring 1999 semester, so I've been doing this for quite a while. As an adjunct, I do not have a mailbox. I do not have an office, but there are mailboxes in the Newtown Classroom building in the 213 suite. Ever since COVID and teaching online, I've never had to interact with a student through my mailbox. As far as office hires, they will be by appointment. So you will reach out to me via email or over Teams, and then we'll agree upon a time that is good for us to meet. The preferred method of communications is an email to my wayne.beach@kctcs.edu email address. As far as the division coordinators and assistant dean, here's all the information on these people. This is supposed to appear in every syllabus, but you probably will not have need to use this. But here's the email address, office locations, and phone numbers for those people. As far as accommodations in the classroom, if a student needs accommodations to be successful in the class, that is worked out with student accessibility services, not directly with the instructor. The process is you talk to the student accessibility services office. They decide if accommodations need to be made. If so, exactly what accommodations the student needs to be successful in the class. And then they will send me a formal letter identifying the student and what accommodations need to be made for that student. The next section is general information on the Bluegrass BCTC homepage, Blackboard, something called MyPath, which has been out for a while. And from a faculty standpoint, if I go to MyPath, I see things a faculty member might need to find. If you go as a student, you will find things that you as a student might find. And I actually didn't think I would like it when it first came out, but have found it to be pretty handy for my needs. And there's a link to the BCTC student handbook. So here is the official course description for Python 1, what you're going to learn. Prerequisites for this class is that you have completed successfully CIT 120 or you have consent of the instructor. Here's a list of course competencies. Basically what this means is if you participate in the class, do good in the class, study the material, do the programming assignments, these are the things that you should be able to explain and or do once you have successfully completed the course. As far as required technology, you will need a computer to access Blackboard. We will also be using a server called the Grace server. The name of that may change as they're going to rebuild it I guess during the summer, but next semester it should be referred to as the Grace server. I'll teach you how to use that, but that is what I'm referring to here when I say the college-run Linux server. The majority, if not all, of your programming assignments will need to be completed on this server for them to be graded successfully by me. You need a computer to do your work. If we have a Teams meeting, you need a webcam and a microphone. To do your proctored exams, you will need a webcam and a microphone to complete those. I'll talk about that more later in the course about the proctored exams. And high-speed internet. Your course, 144, had a course fee associated with it to pay for the textbook. You will access that textbook through Blackboard and via a link that I put there. So no hard copy text is required. If you do desire a physical copy, under optional textbook, I've given you the information for purchasing it. You don't really need that unless you just do better with physical books, or there's some advantage to a physical book, like you travel a lot, spend a lot of time on airplanes, where these days you can pull out your laptop, but they may charge you for that, and a book might be easier and safer to carry, for example. As far as attendance and participation, I expect you to log into Blackboard daily to check for announcements and assignment. I expect you to check your email regularly, and I expect you to complete and turn in your assignments by the end of the day on the due date. This is a standard statement for standard online classes. Your attendance and participation is indicated by completing your assignments by the due date for a given week. Courses for a long time have had what they call a no-show date. When all classes were meeting in person, the policy was if the student did not attend either of the first two class meetings, they could be dropped from the course and deemed a no-show. With everything, or a lot of things, being online now, we have to do this through Blackboard, and we have to give you an attendance verification assignment. For me, I call that homework 0, and it's just a question or two about you've read the syllabus and understand it, and that assignment has to be completed by January 17th. If you do not complete it, you will be dropped from the class as a no-show, and students that are dropped for this reason are no longer eligible to continue working in the course and are not eligible to be re-enrolled in the course. As far as email policy, any email you send, personal or school-related or work-related, should have a meaningful subject. An example of a subject I get on occasion that is not helpful at all, which is help. I don't know what class you're in. I don't know what you're having a problem with. I make the assumption that maybe you are a student of mine, but maybe you're not. So a good subject for this class would definitely include CIT 144 in the subject, and then something more along the lines of what your issue is. For example, CIT 144, problem with homework 6. That tells me a lot. I know you're in my 144 class. I know you're working on homework 6. I know when homework 6 is due. And I can, if I go back and search later for emails, I can search for CIT 144 and find outstanding emails that I haven't answered. One thing that is in bold, and no matter how many times I say this, and how much I bold it or underline it or put exclamation points, it seems that one or two students always attempt to use the Blackboard message system to send me messages. that is not a good thing to do. I get that message. It's real frustrating. I reply to it, and then it says, hey, you can't reply to that. So I have to go look up your email address and copy and paste that into an email or retype it into an email. And I don't see those as frequently as I will an actual email. I kind of pride myself on answering messages very quickly from students. So if you want the quickest possible response, send it to me in email. Another thing that I don't know that I have in the syllabus, but I'm thinking about why I'm talking about that, is a lot of students, I am usually on KCTCS teams all the time, and a lot of students will message me there. It's gotten a little better because I can now be on two teams through my team's client software, whereas before I had to do KCTCS in a browser because the client wouldn't allow me to be in two organizations. But it's okay to message me in Teams, but if you don't get an answer in 5 or 10 minutes, please send me an email. I had 2 students last semester who were constantly sending me messages in Blackboard that I could have answered hours earlier if they had just sent it to me in email. And I told them over and over again, it's fine to message me in Teams, but if I don't answer in a timely fashion, please send email. And they would never, ever send the email. Eastern time zone, I'm getting more and more students that are in other home colleges other than Bluegrass. And a couple things came up a few semesters ago. One is if you're in Western Kentucky, such as Owensboro, there's obviously an hour time change or time difference. So when I set the due date to 11:59 p.m., that's Eastern Standard Time. So if, for example, you're in the Central Time Zone, you need to equate that to 10:59 that your assignments are due, so that they're not counted late by Blackboard. Okay, academic integrity policy, the politically correct name for cheating or plagiarism. They tried not to use that. Then they added that back in, I think somewhere in this text, cheating right there, which I thought was kind of funny. They were trying not to use that term. But basically what it boils down to is the work in this class is expected to be yours and only yours. And these days we have to have things that relate to artificial intelligence, things like ChatGPT. Fortunately for me as an instructor, it often is very obvious when somebody uses ChatGPT. I actually had a student in the past ask ChatGPT verbatim a question for my homework, which was to do something on their PC. The AI responded, "I'm sorry, I can't run that on your PC, but what you need to do is open a command prompt and type this command," which is what I had asked them to do anyway. Well, instead of the student opening the command prompt and issuing the command, they just copy and pasted the response, which was, "I'm sorry, I couldn't run that command on your computer." So I knew pretty much right away that an AI had done that, and the student didn't pay enough attention to realize that that was not an appropriate question or appropriate answer to the question. So, don't obtain your solutions any other way than you creating them yourself, I guess is the best way to say that. This is a policy on recorded class sessions. This will not apply to us because, the lecture will be one way. It'll be a lot of video, but it's from me to you. We will not have a recording where your name or face might be contained within the recording. This is information on the BCTC Equity and Unity Statement that you can read on your own. Several semesters ago, they made us list all the course components. And this is basically the different types of assignments you will be graded upon. And I think this is actually a pretty good idea. So I will refer to things as homeworks. Homeworks will be assignments that are created by me, your instructor, and given to you to complete. You will have a category referred to as programs, which are things that I ask you to create in Python, most likely run, like I said, on the district Linux server, and or possibly the Revel system, which is part of Pearson, which is where your textbook comes from. Now, I probably will not, but reserve the right to assign things from Revel on occasion. Quizzes, there will be weekly quizzes that are based on your material that was covered, typically during the previous week. And then you will have exams. And for this course, you will have two types of exams. You will have a midterm exam and a final exam. Both of these exams will be created by me, and they will be administered to you via Blackboard, and they will be proctored using a piece of software called Respondus. Respondus is a piece of software that KCTCS purchased during COVID times and have continued for proctoring online exams. Excuse me. This is how I will proctor your two exams. You will need a computer with high-speed internet. You will have to install the Respondus browser on your computer, which I will do as part of a homework assignment prior to your midterm exam, so that you can make sure everything's working properly and that you know how to use the software. And you will need a properly working webcam and microphone. Both of those will be required for the exam to be proctored. This has to be on a PC. It cannot be on a mobile device. And like I said, I'll give more information out about this and have you install it and use it closer to your first exam. Several semesters ago, they started officially having midterm grades that we will place in Blackboard, which are basically, if we had to give you a grade at this point in time, what grade would you get in this class? So that you know whether you're doing okay or maybe you need to improve on some things, before the end of the semester comes. Your official midterm grade and the final grades at the end of the semester are available to you through your self-service in PeopleSoft. Okay, above I talked about the components of your class score. Here is the weight of those. The average of your homeworks will be 15%. Since this is a programming class, the average of your programs will be 40%. Weekly quizzes would be 15%. Your midterm exam will be 15%. And your final would be 15%. Once I calculate your grades based on that weights or those percentages, I use a traditional 90 to 100 as an A, 80, 89 as a B, etc. grading scale. As far as late work, I expect the assignments to be turned in by the date they're due, but I do also understand that there may be times that something comes up related to your work or your personal situation that might cause you to miss one of these assignments. I just ask you let me know in advance what the circumstance is, and I will decide whether I will extend that due date. and then how you need to complete it, and more importantly, by when. As far as withdrawal policies, depending on how long you've been at BCTC, you may know this or you may not. Up to the midterm date, you can simply go into PeopleSoft and drop the class. After that due date through the last day of classes, you need the instructor permission. I will ultimately grant you permission to withdraw from the class if you ask to do so in the appropriate time frame, which is by the last day of classes, not finals week, the last day of the regular semester. I might have a discussion with you to make sure that's the right thing to do, but ultimately, if you say you want to withdraw, I will let you withdraw. Here's some additional resources that we'll use throughout the semester. There will be 2 or 3 Starfish surveys where, most of the time, Starfish, from my aspect, is telling students they're doing good, or, hey, you're doing pretty good, but you missed a couple assignments, or, hey, you're way behind, you need to catch up or withdraw from the class, that type of thing. Free tutoring is available for CIT courses through Bluegrass. In the past, after COVID was over, they have had in-person tutoring, but they have kept online tutoring in some cases for some of the tutors. So you can go to the tutoring website and see what's available. Usually my class gets an embedded tutor. So you will have a tutor. In the past, most of the time, this had been a student that was about to graduate, or somebody that was a past student that was just out of school for a semester or two. But my tutor last time for 144 was actually a full-time UAK employee who was just interested in tutoring. Who may be who we get again for this class. But in Blackboard, we will have information on who our tutor is and how to contact them. And usually the tutor will send out an introductory announcement to the course once they're chosen and assigned classes. Next, there's the Policies and Resources document. That has a lot of college policies, emergency closing for weather and things like that. Probably won't apply to us, but there may be other information there that is useful to you. As far as getting support on Respondus, to get support, you have to be in a test, and there's a button you click to chat with somebody at Respondus to discuss whatever problem you are having. The closed campus contingency policy doesn't apply to us again because we're an online class. So that is in there for consistency, and it may apply to in-person or hybrid classes you have. But as stated here, for this particular class, CIT 144, a closure should not have any significant impact on us since all the delivery and interaction is online. And as always, if there's any questions or issues related to this or anything, contact me in Teams or via email. Again, I'm not going to read this to you. This is the official course outline. Reporting dates. I saw this in another faculty's syllabus about a year ago and thought it was a good idea. So Wednesday, January 17th is the attendance confirmation date when I have to report anybody that is a no-show. Typically, the 4th week of class will be the first Starfish progress report where I'm asked to complete that for all my classes. Monday, March 4th is the midterm date. That is when midterm grades will be posted. Typically, the 12th week of class, we will have a second Starfish progress survey. And then final grades are due the Monday after finals week, which is May 6th this year. Okay, on the last page of the syllabus, we have the tentative course schedule. I've gone through this, and this should be pretty accurate. We might vary slightly, get a little bit ahead, a little bit of behind. It may fluctuate, but this is probably likely what our activities and chapters that we're going to cover each week. The 8th week of class, February 26th to March 3rd, is your midterm exam. I screwed up the dates here. I will need to go back and fix this, but this should say it's going to be proctored from Monday through Thursday, which would be the 26th through the 29th is when that is. I will go back that and correct that in the document that's in Blackboard. And then after week 9, this week of March 11th through March 17th is spring break. And then finals week is April 29th through May 3rd, and you will have a comprehensive final in Blackboard that will be also administered whenever you want to take it, Monday through Thursday, which should be April 29th through May 2nd. So that's just I don't know whether to call it brief or quick discussion of your syllabus to kind of enhance the physical copy or the electronic copy that you're going to get in Blackboard. If you have any questions at all, please email those to me.